Hey ladies,
Hello.
how you doing?
Good.
Good.
Okay, so for everyone watching, I'm joined right now by my retreat co-hosts for our upcoming Unapologetic Retreat in the Algarve of Portugal. My first co-host is Alicia Rodriguez, and you can see there behind her the beautiful cliffs, which is exactly where we're going to be hosting the retreat. Not on the edge of the cliff, obviously. That would be dangerous.
Metaphorically.
But in a very beautiful hotel nearby. And Alicia is covering the mindset part of the retreat. Lauren Jones is my other co-host who's here today also, and she will be covering off the brand part of the retreat. And I'm Jill Mokes. I'm covering off the business strategy, growth strategy, marketing type part of the retreat. So we thought we'd do a series of these short videos just covering off the three aspects of what this retreat in October, the dates of the retreat are the 21st to the 29th of October, again in the beautiful Ferragudo, which is in the Algarve of Portugal. And we just wanted to cover off what the three aspects of the retreat are, because it's quite a special combination in that we've brought together mindset, brand and business strategy in quite a potent week that's going to be incredibly transformational. And we really want to just highlight each of those disciplines and why it's so important to bring those three together if you are a woman with a big vision that you want to bring to life, an alignment that you're craving for the work you do, then really this week is going to be for you. So we're going to kick off in this video just talking to Alicia a little about mindset and the role that that plays. So Alicia, can I just kick off with the first question? Why does mindset matter so much?
So if you think about building a house, you never put the roof on before you put the foundation on, right? I kind of think of mindset like that. Mindset is the foundation on which you build not only your business, but frankly, your life, right? So mindset is, people come to me and they say they have like limiting beliefs, right? They don't know that they have them. They don't know that there's this thing like the operating system in your computer. You might have a Word document, but there's an operating system running in the background. That's the work I do. I go to the operating system in the background because you don't even know that you have that mindset oftentimes, or you are making assumptions and beliefs that you might have created because someone told you that way, but it doesn't really work for you if you're growing. So the work I do is based on going to the source of what holds you back. It's not the symptoms of what holds you back. It's actually the thinking patterns that you have developed over time that keep you in a rut and keep you possibilities unavailable to you. So that's kind of like in a nutshell about why it matters so much. And you can't really create something more than what you believe you are if you don't believe you are more. So,
and that's it, isn't it? That's the point. The mindset work is that key to stopping yourself from playing small.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why that's so important for this week that we're planning, right?
I mean, following on from that, I mean, it all sounds great and I'm already sold. Can you tell us a little bit about your approach with that? How do you get into people's operating systems?
It's like I have people who say, you're sitting on my shoulder when I so most of us operate from like the head up. It's just like a mental process. The work I do doesn't do that. It's very holistic. I'm taking into account, mind, body, spirit. And when I say spirit, I mean, how do you make meaning? How do you find purpose? And heart, where does your heart tell you want to go? And then I look at the whole person. It's not just about their business. Again, it's a very holistic approach. It's about weaving the things you care about in your life with the things that you care about in your business, because it's one whole thing. There's just aspects of it, but what you do in one regard, frankly, you do in the other regard, and you might not be aware of it. So there's that. And I believe that the body is a tool for learning. So there's a lot of somatic work that I do with people. Mostly it works really well when you're in front of me, when you're literally physically in front of me. I can do it over Zoom, but it doesn't work as well as when you're in front of me. And I put you through certain exercises that can be fun, can be challenging, but you get it so instantly. Like when it happens, it's like you do not go back to the way you were thinking before. So the body is very much a tool in my work and the kinds of things that I bring when I do the mindset piece with people.
Right.
That's powerful, isn't it? I think that's incredibly powerful. And you just said there that it works the best when people are right in front of you, and that's part of the reason that we want to get these women here in person. For a long time we couldn't do that, and it's where the magic happens. It's where the really powerful change happens, right?
Yeah. So, and the other thing about that, Jill, is that everybody helps everybody else. So like when you're in a community, especially a community of women, and one person is having an aha moment, you can see it on the face of other women. You can see they're like translating it into their own lives and saying, oh my God, I never thought of that. I never thought of it that way. And so I think that's the other value of coming to the Algarve with us in person, in a small community, a safe environment, because I'm all about safety, where you don't just learn from us, but you learn from each other. And I think that's important.
That's where the most powerful change happens, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that stepping into the unknown with a room full of strangers is like the best way to make fast friends and learn very quickly from everybody. It's amazing.
Yeah. I think for a lot of women joining us, this will be a more transformational experience than they even anticipate it's going to be. We don't do this enough. We don't take that time out. We don't create the space for really transformational change to happen. We talk about it, we read about it a lot, but do we actually do it enough? I would say probably not. And I guess, Alicia, I'm interested in how this trilogy of the three of us, because it was really important to us, wasn't it, that we came together to do this unapologetic retreat, because the mindset, the brand, and the business strategy, really, none of them work in isolation. In terms of a business, none of them really are the whole picture. We need all of these parts, but no part alone is the full picture. So I think what's really interesting is that women coming for a week with us are getting this taste of a very rounded picture for whatever what's next is. How does the mindset piece, because we've really curated very carefully this week for the mindset work to lead into the brand work with Lauren. I'm interested, and because I know that then leads into the work with me for the growth strategy. How do you see that working with the mindset piece and feeding into the work that Lauren's doing after you?
I think it goes back to whether you hold limiting beliefs. I mean, so if you perceive yourself and your business as like this big, then your brand is going to be that. And so that brand is not going to open up the possibility of this, right? And so that's why mindset at the beginning is so important, because once you break through the barrier of what you believe is possible, and that's the thing, we limit ourselves on purpose. Like either we're afraid, or we've received messages that you can't do that, or you're not enough, and all that stuff, and when you break through that, and then you say, okay, how do I want to show up? Clearly, if you've broken through your perceived limitations, how you're going to show up is much greater than, much bigger, much more expansive than the way you would have shown up if you had still stayed in that small mindset. And then then you pass it off to brand. And Lauren's gift is being able to take that really authentic and honest and courageous person and create something extraordinary that wouldn't be available to her if she was still in a small mindset. And then obviously from there, your messaging, your marketing, and the business strategy, what kind of business model works for you. So it's a great flow from one into the other and the other.
I'm just smiling ear to ear, and I just be a testament to that, because I've actually had the privilege of working with some of Alicia's clients that have worked with her for a while, and I can absolutely vouch that the individual that we get, the woman that comes through that door once she's worked with Alicia on mindset, is just the dream client. They know, they understand themselves. They feel limitless, and they feel like they're so purpose driven with what they're doing, with clarity. And so teasing together for me just is a dream. But I think you're right, that unlocking of what if you can, you should, like it's in you, let's go do this, is very powerful. Yeah,
I think so too.
I guess following on from that as well, the mindset, the role of mindset throughout business growth. I mean, business goes in cycles, brand goes in cycles. We're constantly moving in, sometimes fluid, sometimes around a circle, sometimes backwards, with the shifting sands of the economy and our marketplace and just what we're doing in ourselves. But for ourselves, how do you see the role of mindset working within that shifting cyclical sort of landscape as the individual and the founder?
Well, I think the individual and the founder is the center point, if you will, of the business that they want to create. And so I kind of look back at human development. Human development isn't linear. It's cyclical. It's iterative. We go back, we learn it again. Now we learn it at a different level. We go back. I mean, how many times have you said, I thought I got that before? Why is this happening? Why am I going through this again? And I will take myself as an example. I worked with you, Lauren. Like, I've been in business over 20 years. I've grown my business, but at each point I had pushed through limits, but by doing the business, I had also learned other limits. And then I had to push through those and then through those. And so when I worked with, we've all worked with one another, which is really cool. But like, just to be able to be challenged on your thinking about the way you think you should show up, is that you challenge different aspects of your thinking when you're, starting a business, right? Very different than the woman who is in a growth mode, than the woman who is at the end of that and saying, I want to amplify my impact in the world based on who I am today. So my business is great, but I want my own personal brand and I want to amplify that. So at each point in time, it's a different conversation. And so that's what's so important, is to be able to understand that what we do at the beginning of our business or the end of our business or the middle of our business has its own tenor, if you will. And then again, I feed that into branding. The brand that I had with Sophia Associates, 20 years ago is very different than the branding that I did with Lauren recently here in Portugal, doing, an amplification of my work. I look at it as an amplification of my work. I'm just applying it differently. And then with marketing, having Jill kind of challenging me on some of my assumptions about the way I should be working, and kind of giving me permission to ask what I really wanted. Right. And stand in that, right? And stand unapologetically in that. So, for those of you who are listening to it, we walk our talk. We've been through this with ourselves. So this isn't like, you read something in a textbook. We walk our talk.
For those watching, I'd love you to do two things. I'd love you to head to unapologeticretreats.com and take a look, find out more about the retreat and how each of us thread into what that retreat is going to bring that week. But I want you to do something else as well. I want you to head to aliciamrodriguez.com. And we'll put the links in the notes below this video. But if you head over to there, you're going to get a few things. You're going to find out more about Alicia and what you can expect from her in Portugal this week. It's the work Alicia does is incredible. So I really want you to, as Lauren and I can both pay testament to that. So definitely head to her website and check that out. But when you do that, also take a look at her brand, because that is what Lauren delivers, and it's a phenomenal brand. You will be blown away when you see it, and you'll get this way that we work together. It's a powerful mix. The more that we talk about it, the more that we prepare for this retreat in October, the more right this feels, and the more I know without any shadow of a doubt, unapologetically, that this is going to be just so transformational for the women that join us. So yeah, head over and check us out, unapologeticretreats.com. If you've got any questions, you can email us at yes@unapologeticretreats.com. Bye for now.
Thank you.